Hello and welcome to Take Six. I'm streaming executive producer Thomas Mates in for Julie Broughton. She is covering for meteorologist Jonathan Keggis this evening. So you got me today, but we've got a great show for you. We're covering a lot of topics. We're going to be, of course, looking ahead to your weekend forecast. There's a lot going on this weekend between EDC, several events at the Kia Center, and everything else that's happening in your neck of the woods, as well as the Downtown Orlando Veterans Parade, which is going to be hosted this year by Crystal Moyer and Trooper Stephen Montiero, which you'll be able to watch right here on News 6 Plus tomorrow at around 11 a.m. So be sure you tune in for that. In addition to the weekend forecast, we're also going to be taking a look at the Boys and Girls Club in Pine Hills, and in particular, one young gentleman who goes there regularly, has been going there regularly for years, and is now giving back to his community through the Boys and Girls Club. Lisa Bell, News 6 anchor Lisa Bell, will be joining us to tell us his story and talk about all the good things that are happening in Pine Hills, which we are going to be heading to on Tuesday, November 12th for our Hits the Road show. And before we all get to all of that, we are coming to the end of a lot of seasons. We're near the end of hurricane season. It's right around the corner. I know it doesn't seem like it because there's still a storm out there in the Gulf, but it's got to end sometime. We're also at the end of the political season. We had our election on Tuesday, which bring to close a very long 2 years of campaigning for the presidential election and, of course, for all the congressional races. And now we are entering into the holiday season, but also the cold and flu season. It's something that comes along every year, and it is so important for you to protect yourself and your family. And so to help facilitate that, we are teaming up, as we do every year, with Advent Health and Centricare to bring you several flu shot events that are going to be happening around Central Florida next week. We have 3 of them coming up. But to tell us more about that, we are going to be joined today by Kim Graham, a registered nurse with Advent Health and Centricare. She joins us right now. How are you doing today?
Hi, doing good today. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. As you heard, we're coming to the end of a lot this week, so hopefully the weekend can calm down. But of course, the cold and flu season is going to be hanging over us. It's the sort of Damocles we have every single year. It's so important to protect yourself. I already got my flu shot this year, but not everyone has. So obviously we have these events coming up. First of all, just walk us through why is it that the flu shot is so important, and why do we have to get it every single year?
Yeah, so each year the strains can change. So it's important that if you have especially any comorbidities, any type of health issues, that you protect yourself by getting the flu vaccine each season, not just a one and done type of vaccine.
Yeah, and like you said, what are some of those comorbidities that people have to watch out for?
It could be COPD, it could be congestive heart failure, any type of your upper respiratory things, hypertension, um, you know, diabetes, all those types of things. When you get the flu, it could be much worse than if you are just a normal, happy, healthy individual.
Yeah, and that covers, so many people. If you don't have any of those comorbidities, maybe someone who does, your
Right,
grandmother, those intergenerational households. So that's why it's so important to not only protect yourself, but protect other people from getting sick because
right.
you got it.
Yeah, and I might not get it,
Mhm.
but I could carry it. So by protecting myself, I'm protecting my loved ones, and those that may be sick, as you mentioned.
Exactly. And so it's also important to know that these events that we do every single year, you've been to them before, correct?
I've been
Y-
at every one of them for 20
yes.
plus years.
20
So,
plus
yes.
years. Wow. So yes, you've seen a lot of injections go through. Tell people just about these events, how they go, how quick and easy it is.
Yeah, so it's really quick and easy. We set up a tent outside of our Centricare locations. We have shot givers ready to go. We have everything prepped and ready. So when you arrive, you get a consent form, you fill that out, you get in the queue, and you just find a seat, and we've got staff there ready to take care of you, get you your shot. Literally, it takes minutes. So we encourage you to come out and get your free flu shot. You don't have to pay for anything. You don't have to produce insurance, nothing. Just come and fill out the form, get in line, and we'll get everything else taken care of.
And this is an event that's available to the whole family, kids, adults,
Absolutely. Yep.
grandparents.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
no.
All ages, 6 months and
Mhm.
older. Don't inject children under the age of 6 months. So yeah, anybody can come. It's fast, it's free, and we're here to help serve.
Yeah, and how many people does it take to put on one of these events? How many people are going to be out there helping to facilitate these vaccines and everything?
Yeah, so typically when it comes to the vaccine piece of it, we typically have 15 to 20 people there to help administer the shots. We'll have another 10 to 15 people to help guide traffic, get the forms filled out. It just so we've got probably a total team of 30 to 40 people out there at the events that will help make it simple and easy for you to get in and get your vaccine and get on your way.
And, obviously, in the world we live in today, we don't just have the flu season. COVID is also an issue. Are people able to get both shots, within a relatively short time of each other?
You can. Now, we will not have COVID vaccines
Hmm.
at this event, but yes, you can get those, back to back. You can get them on the same day. So if you came and got your flu shot with us and then you left and went to your provider's office or one of the pharmacies that carries it, you could get your COVID vaccine in the same day.
That's great. And as I mentioned, we're going to be having 3 of these events. You can see the information up on your screen right now. One in Sanford, one over on University Boulevard, and then one out in Claremont. So there's a plenty of availability for people to go out to these events, get it done. Obviously, like you said, there's just going to be a small army of people out there just like churning out these shots, trying to keep people in and out as quickly as possible. But, if people can't make it out to one of these events, how can they get one of these shots just on an average day?
Yeah, so if you're not able to make it to any of the events, CentraCare provides vaccines to the public, so you can come into CentraCare anytime. You don't have to have an appointment. You can walk in, and we're happy to help take care of you.
And there are different strains that people need to be concerned about with the flu. But as we were talking before, you were saying that this is a broad spectrum vaccine, so people should be widely covered.
Correct. And so there's typically the A strains and the B strains that they make sure that they formulated into the vaccines. And if there's any changes, within those strains, there's sub strains. The CDC and the manufacturers, do a good job of making sure that they're tracking along with what we're seeing in the community.
And I know we kind of covered this a little bit up top, but people can be a little wary about getting the flu shot, getting any shot. I myself am not a fan of shots. I always have to look away, otherwise I get a little woozy. What do you have to say to those people? How can you just reassure them that this is safe and effective and will just benefit them in the long run?
Yeah, to your point, to those that are scared of needles, we're really good. We're gentle. We'll make sure you're taken well care of. And, it's just encourage you to do what's best for you based on your health history and your family's health history, and do what you can to protect yourself and your community during this flu season.
Absolutely. It's not just about you. I'm protecting you as much as I'm protecting myself.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Kim Graham, thank you so much for your time. Excuse me. Will you be out at these events next week?
I will.
Uh,
Absolutely. So I hope to see everybody out there. Come and say hi.
Absolutely. We're going to put the information up on your screen one more time just so you can see them. November 11th will be in Sanford at 4451 West 1st Street in Sanford. Then we'll be on Wednesday, November 13th, which incidentally is my birthday. But we'll be out there at University Boulevard, 11550 University Boulevard, November 13th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then Claremont, also 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. on November 14th, 2345 East Highway 50 in Claremont. 3 chances for you to get your flu shot. Quick, easy, and of course, free. Free is very important. Everything
Yes,
costs a little bit
absolutely.
more, but not your health, not for this at least. Kim Graham,
Right.
thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
And again, everyone, go out next week rather, and stop, say hi to Kim as she helps to make sure everyone's protected this cold and flu season. Thank you so much again.
You're welcome. Hope to see you there.
Yes, absolutely. All right. We are going to take a quick break, and then we are going to be back with New 6 anchor Lisa Bell, again talking about the Boys and Girls Club and one special young man out in Pine Hills who is giving back to his community through the Boys and Girls Club. We'll also be touching base with digital meteorologist David Nazario. He is going to break down your weekend forecast, a coming cold front. He's going to touch on the tropics. Again, we're not quite out of hurricane season yet, but It's hopefully winding down. We'll get there together, don't you worry. So we are going to take a quick break. We will be back in 2 minutes with all of that and maybe more. Probably just that, though. Thank you so much.
So, Thomas, for some reason, I cannot hear you at all, but I can hear myself
Can you hear me
in through
now?
these headphones. That's better. Yes. So, very good. Yes, we had the opportunity to meet a young man who is getting results in the Pine Hills community, which is where News 6 will be hitting the road next week. We are so excited to go there and showcase some of the gems in the Pine Hills community. And boy, did I find one. He is 14 years old. He is a freshman at Evans High School, and he is a member at the Walt Disney World Boys and Girls Club, which has been in Pine Hills since 1960, getting results in our community. This young man now mentors other kids at the club. He has a lot of interest, and his two focuses are basically food insecurity and mental health. Let's go ahead and take a look at our interview with Kevin.
Good afternoon, everybody.
On most afternoons,
You good? You good? You had a nice day?
when most teens get out of school,
Everybody's day been good?
they could be doing a lot of different things.
Who thinks they're gonna win, Simon says?
But 14-year-old Kevin
right.
Pompolis has decided to come here.
Simon says.
The Walt Disney World Boys and Girls Club in Pine Hills,
like a different fabric.
using his passion for the arts and robotics
So right now I am adding pieces to the front of this robot.
to get results in the community.
So I actually mentor the kids in robotics, and I remember teaching them the positive and negative of the batteries, and also teaching them how to work in their workbooks, and it's continued ever since. since.
The now freshman at Evans High School has been a club member since he was 6 years old.
It makes me feel proud and ecstatic to to just watch Kevin grow up.
What are we working on today?
I see how the club has shaped him, not just academically, not just socially, but also as an advocate.
Kevin now focuses on 2 issues that he says go hand in hand: food insecurity and mental health.
What did you learn? Tell me.
He was part of a teen-led project called Food for Thought, who flew to Washington, D.C. to meet with policymakers about food insecurity, and is part of the club's Mental Health Mythbusters program.
What the Mental Health Mythbusters do is we host various events dismantling the misconceptions regarding mental health, and we also provide educational resources to the community regarding mental health. Everybody can give me a high five. Yeah. You get a high five, you get a high five, you get a high five, you get a high five. We provide coping strategies, we provide breathing techniques, we encourage them to journaling, and most importantly, we encourage them and we teach them how to find help.
Kevin stands out to me because he has a passion for helping people. He has an eye for the details, the small things that normally individuals would look over. Kevin doesn't look over, he stops, he pays attention.
This is the finished product.
Okay, that's good. Just his passion and drive towards helping others is one of the reasons why Kevin stands out to me.
Lisa Bell.
Stop.
Getting results. News 6. Isn't he just adorable?
He is something.
Right? What a great mentor, inspiration for those kids to have someone like that to look up to and to be around every single day. And you got to see a little bit of the inside of the Boys and Girls Club there in Pine Hills. And as we hit the road, I'm going to give you guys really a behind the scenes look at that club. It is phenomenal. Every day, some 200 kids go there, and they do everything, as you saw in that piece there, from dance to robots to art, mentoring. They also have a huge gym where they can go and play basketball. They have a dance studio, so they have something for everyone there at the Boys and Girls Club, and he has really found his way there and so many opportunities through that organization, and he's using them to then give back to the entire community. As we mentioned, he works with Second Harvest Food Bank with food insecurity and the whole mental health mythbusters, which he says, again, those 2 issues really go hand in hand. And to be able to work with those kids and set such a great example for others is something that we just wanted to highlight. So I'm glad we had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. That kid he's brilliant, it seems.
Right?
And, I certainly wasn't doing any of that. So nothing worth a news package about at his age. So it's really impressive that not only has he grown there and seen success there, but now he's, paying it forward, giving it back to the kids who are coming up behind him. How, did you get a chance to say like how he first came to the Boys and Girls Club? And
he had some older siblings who were going to the club there. And what I love about that Pine Hills Club, it's the Walt Disney World Club. Walt Disney World is a big supporter of Boys and Girls Clubs, certainly here in Central Florida. But it is located less than or about 2 miles from several schools in the Pine Hills area. We're talking Molly Ray Elementary, which is right across the street, basically in the parking lot, Evans High School. I have a whole list that are very close by, Robbinswood Middle School, Pine Hills Elementary, Ridgewood Park Elementary. So they're centrally located, so kids can basically just walk there after school and go have that safe, positive place to go, where they have 20 trained instructors plus volunteers who work with kids every single day. We're talking about reading tutors, math tutors, dance instructors, art instructors, people who know how to use those robotic instructors. So they have people who go there every day. His older sisters were going there, and he says he would peer through the window and was just in awe of what he was seeing happening inside. And so when he turned 6, he joined, and he's been there ever since.
Yeah, and it's not just a place where, keep kids occupied and out of trouble, but like they can grow there, they can learn there, they can develop into the people they're going to become.
So you saw him there kind of creating some T-shirts. They make those T-shirts and then they sell them. They help kids develop small business plans and whatever they want to do, whether it's making signs out of wood materials. Again, the T-shirts, they do keychains, they do all sorts of stuff there. And they help these kids figure out how can they turn this into a real opportunity, a career opportunity. Same thing with their robotics program. They have people who come in from the theme parks and talk to them about how things like that they're building there, those robots, actually is similar to what they're doing at the theme parks when they build roller coasters.
Yeah, one thing I found really impressive about him is like clearly he's got a head for STEM and the sciences and robotics and all of that interesting stuff. But I really appreciated how he's also really invested in people's health, their mental health, and their
Yes.
nutritional health, and his focus is on getting rid of the stigmas around mental health and making sure that people have those nutritious meals so that they can then go ahead and grow and learn without having to worry about those basic needs that we all take for granted.
He has such a big heart. By the way, 100% of seniors who are members of Boys and Girls Clubs in Central Florida graduate from high school. His plan is to become a neurosurgeon. So
Wow.
his giving back to the community will not end there.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
I really hope we get to see more of this kid in the future, and I know you're going to be showing us even more of all the good works that the Boys and Girls Club are doing in that community, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Every day, some 200 kids go there after school. And then they're also there throughout the summer. And by the way, it's
Mm-hmm.
free.
Free.
And so when we talk about the ripple effect that an organization like that has in a community, when you have a safe, positive place for your kids to go until 6, 7 o'clock at night every day after school, and then during the summer, when as a parent, it's childcare is such a challenge for me personally. I have two
Mm-hmm.
young boys. Um, it's expensive. It's hard to find. Transportation can be a challenge trying to get your kids from school to wherever they need to be. And so the fact that that's centrally located, that kids can walk there, it's free, it's allowing their parents to then go out and work and do whatever they need to do.
Yeah, the Boys and Girl Club is a real gem in any community, but especially for that community, a community that is so diverse and historically underserved, but now is getting some of the attention it deserves, and that is a real resource for not just the current generation but future generations. It's really going to transform the area, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And if you want to well, unfortunately, because we're doing this at the Boys and Girls Club, our next Hits the Road show is not exactly open to the public. Obviously, there's going to be lots of kids around, so we can't have everyone coming and going. But we will have tents outside. We'll be there on November 12th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Lisa, you'll be there. Ginger will be there. Matt will be there.
It should be a good time. It always is a great time. And I know we'll be able to be outside. I think that we've got a whole crew that's going to be there. And so, people are going to be coming picking up their kids. There might be some other activities going on in the parking lot that are not 100% set in stone yet. So
Mm-hmm.
it's always a great time.
Absolutely, absolutely. We want to, meet the people of the community, and like I said, we'll be outside. Lisa will be there, and along with the rest of the team, the investigators, Trooper Steve, everyone will be there. We hope that you're able to stop by and at least say hello, and that'll be this Tuesday, November 12th, starting at 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. All right, Lisa, thank you so much for your time, and
Thank
we'll look
you.
forward to seeing more on the Boys and Girls Club and your future reports as we go through our Hits the Road coverage.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. And now, as promised, we are going to get a check of your weekend forecast. For that, we turn to none other than the man, the myth, the legend, David Nazario. David, if you could please punch up your camera for me, though. I'm not seeing you right now. I believe I'm seeing the Tropics loop.
There I am.
There you are. I didn't want to pop it up before we had you on there. This is the star of the show here. This is the moneymaker that people are coming for. The weather is just secondary. David, thank you so much for your time. Let me adjust my boxes here a little bit so that we can pull in your graphics whenever you're ready. But David, so this weekend we're looking, as I understand it, relatively good. We've got potentially a little bit of a cool down coming next weekend, but of course, before all of that, there's still some bubbling in the tropics. Rafael in the Gulf of Mexico. Walk us through it all, please.
Yeah, at this point, I feel as if whenever David Nazario shows up, I'm just synonymous with tropics. It's going to be so weird being introduced during like January or something. What is David talking about today? There is no hurricane in the month of January. Well, no, I'm just kidding. So anyways, with that being said, Thomas, thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. Let's take a look outside right now. So this is our infrared satellite starting off the day. Pretty nice, mostly clear skies. You can see slowly but surely those high clouds that are up over Alabama, Georgia, the northern half of our viewing area, they're rotating clockwise. That's that high pressure that's bullying Rafael out there in the Gulf of Mexico off towards the west. That's going to keep it well away from our our viewing area, and we're not really going to be seeing anything in terms of heavy rain chances over the next few days. As we go through Sunday and maybe particularly Monday for the actual Veterans Day holiday, however, I will say our rain chances could potentially come up with the introduction of another tropical feature out there in the Atlantic. So this is going to be our live radar shot. You can see I had this zoomed out perspective brought up for a couple of our tropical live streams just so we could see Rafael spinning out there over the southeast Gulf of Mexico. That has since worked its way far enough to the west to where Melbourne, Tampa, and even Key West down there, the radar data can no longer pick up the system. You could see no other returns or showers or anything pretty much across the Florida Peninsula, which is excellent. It's going to be a pretty mild day out there. You can see I'm not too sure why the temps themselves aren't populating, but we can use our imagination, if you will, and look at the different colors here. Florida and the Gulf coastline are blanketed by those deep, vibrant oranges. We're looking at temperatures in the mid to upper 80s today, and if I zoom us on over here, this is going to be the forecast high. We're not at the hottest part of the day just yet. Should hopefully be topping out in the upper 80s across Central Florida and the rest of the peninsula for that matter. But the heat indexes are going to crank us up a couple notches. You can see here in Kissimmee, 89 degrees, 90 degrees here in the greater Orlando area, 91 in Leesburg, 92 in the Villages, and a whopping 93 degrees. That's what it's going to feel like today for our viewers out there in Lakeland, Leesburg, and all the aforementioned areas. So despite us being almost to the halfway mark of November, it's almost as if we've had a pseudo summertime pattern come on back in, and I'll show you exactly why that is. So this is our upper level pattern, and when we say upper level, we're looking at the highest points in the atmosphere here where the weather occurs above where we stand at ground level. And if you look, we have that high pressure I mentioned on the satellite situated right over top us in Florida and the rest of the southeast. And if you look at those white lines across the eastern half of the United States, you see how they bow upwards. They kind of bow northerly. And then towards the west, over the Four Corners states, Colorado, New Mexico, parts of Arizona, and Nevada there, or Utah, I should say, we have those blue shades. That's a trough of cooler air. And as I take us through time, right now we're in kind of an upside down pattern for the time of year. But if we fast forward the clock here, you'll see we're literally going to just kind of swoop over and flip everything back around. This is as we go through next week, as Thomas mentioned to all you lovely viewers earlier at the start of the weather brief. We are expecting a little bit of a cool down. This first frontal system is more likely going to be a drier front. It's going to bring our heat indexes and the relative humidity out there down a little bit. And as a result, we should feel back to normal more or less, low to mid 80s before another front works its way back in behind this feature. But you can see now that high pressure, the spinning blue H there, has completely reversed. We went from the southeast to over northern Mexico and the borders of the desert southwest. And as a result, the warmth is going to help to retrograde back towards the west, and we should get a little more cool and dry out in our neck of the woods, which is good news. As a matter of fact, with that trough being introduced, this is what's going to be coming. So you can see Rafael spinning out there in the Gulf of Mexico. We have that next frontal system that kind of identifies the leading edge of all those blue shades I showed you back over the Rocky Mountains. As that slowly shifts off towards the east into the plains, you can see fast forwarding the clock here, we're going to have that frontal system moving east as well, slowly but surely beginning to influence our weather, which means we're going to get a little warmer, a little muggier before we get those cool downs. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. With these systems coming in, before it gets better, it has to get just a little worse. And when I say that, I'm not talking hot temps, but you'll definitely feel the air more or less sitting on you. It'll feel a little soupier out there. The good news here, however, though, is as you can see, once we start to work that feature in, you can see the front propagating over Louisiana, parts of Mississippi. Look at what happens to Rafael. It gets completely ripped apart. So as a result, we're going to have moisture. We'll have humidity. Our dew points will be fairly high, so it will be muggy, humid, and we'll probably break a sweat if you have weekend activities or as we start the work week next week. Our rain chances will try to go up. If you look down over southern Florida, that's that next little tropical feature out there, also helping to increase our chances for rain, mainly for the bottom half of Florida, but we could see a couple of stray showers and maybe an isolated storm or two work its way up closer to the attractions, Orlando metro area, and the central Florida region we typically focus on as we go throughout the weather discussions. Here's a look at the latest National Hurricane Center tropical outlook. I do want to talk tropics, and I don't want to rain on anyone's parade, no pun intended, but we have Raphael, a Category 2 hurricane, our other AOI area of interest, spinning out there over Hispaniola with only a 20% shot it does anything through the weekend or by this time next week. National Hurricane Center is fairly low confidence right now. We've had some surprises, so we're just going to continue to monitor at this point. But then where my red circle is, we're going to be watching for another potential area of tropical low pressure to take advantage of our favorable conditions still down there in place in the Caribbean. More on that to come as we get further in time and we get a little more confidence before we break that down to all you lovely viewers. Here's the latest look at Hurricane Raphael, up to 961 millibars in the center, max sustained winds at 110 miles an hour. The track is goofy. I'm going to tell you that right now, folks. The track is very bizarre. We've never seen anything like this in tropical recorded history for the month of November. And I'm being totally honest with you. If you want to go check out our latest article, Hurricane Raphael Making History, over on clickorlando.com. Phenomenal read. Been getting a lot of positive reviews on that. I would highly encourage you check out just how many records we've set with Raphael alone. And you can see this track keeping it well away from our viewing area is just unlike what we typically see for the month of November. It's good news for us, but just honestly, Raphael is just kind of making the rules up as it goes. And then finally, last but not least, before we pivot away from the tropics, we're still watching the Caribbean as our hotspot, our favorable area where conditions are a little more than normally conducive for an additional tropical disturbance to try to get itself together. We're not too concerned where we stand right now. We're going to take some time to build some more confidence, pinpoint exactly whether or not this is something that we need to start to monitor on a more routine basis, but just putting the bug in you guys' ear for the time being, just because we are still in hurricane season, but I know our attention is more so turned to the holidays quickly approaching. And then finally, last but certainly not least, let's take a look at your pinpoint accurate forecast. This is probably the best part of the whole live stream. Over the next 3 days, you can see we are going to stay fairly warm, starting the days out in the low 70s, peaking in about the mid to upper 80s with those chances of rain going up between Sunday and especially Monday. And then if you notice, as we go through Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, temperatures are coming back down. We're going to be starting the day in the mid-60s and going back to a bit more of the average temps for this time of year. We're looking at maximum heat, or I should say highs for the day, topping out in the low 80s, and that humidity is thankfully going to be coming down as well. So some good news on the horizon.
Yeah, we will definitely take some good news. I am so sick of walking outside and just instantly just the sweat, the schwitzing, schlep
Yep.
to bring out the garbage or
I
whatever.
agree.
And it's just immediately like, oh, God, it's Florida out here again. So I am looking forward to that cold front. I appreciate your time, David. Thank you so much for keeping us informed. And we know we'll be keeping an eye on the tropics. And hopefully, if anything happens, it stays well away from us or anyone else. But thank you so much for your time.
Let's hope so. Fingers crossed.
Reset. So my mic cut out there. I'm not sure what happened. But
I was just going to play it off. I was just going to rock with you, buddy.
We had a little dead air there. But as I was saying, I hope you have a good weekend, David. And I know it's, Veterans Day weekend. And so you yourself being a veteran, I wanted to say, first of all, thank you for your service. And I hope that the holiday treats you well.
Thank you so much for that, Thomas. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll let you go now. And we'll also let everyone else go today. Thank you all so much for your time. I hope that you enjoyed the show. We will be back starting at 4 p.m. with more news and weather for you to lead you into your weekend. Julie Broughton will be in this evening for meteorologist Jonathan Kegis, so you can see her then, and hopefully she'll be able to join us again right here on Take 6 on Monday. We hope that you'll join us as well. Thank you so much for your time today, and have a pleasant day.